A dying bird screamed beneath a market bench, and the whole crowd froze, some filming, some arguing, none helping. Then, out of the fog, a silent girl in worn-out boots stepped forward. She knelt, whispered 2 words, and the bird, who had been crying for its life, fell suddenly calm. Nobody understood who she was, but they were about to find out. A woman with grocery bags slowed, stiffened, then lifted her chin and walked faster. 2 men rolling out a fruit cart exchanged uneasy glances, but neither stepped away from their work. A teenager on a skateboard circled once, listening, before pushing off again with forced indifference. The cry grew uneven, as though the tiny throat producing it was collapsing under its own fear. "Someone's pet?" a vendor muttered, not bothering to look up. "No wild. Don't touch it," another said sharply. They all pretended the sound belonged to the air, not to responsibility. Finally, between stalls stacked with apples and jars of honey, someone pointed. "There, under the benches." Through the fog, a wounded bird lay half-hidden beneath a slatted wooden bench. Its wings trembled, feathers scraped and bent at odd angles, a faint trace of blood seeping between them. Every attempt to move sent a shudder across its small body. Its eyes stayed half open, blinking slow and uneven. A small crowd gathered, not close enough to help, but close enough to watch without guilt. A woman shook her head. "It's dying." A man shrugged, "Then leave it be. Nature knows." A younger boy, maybe 9, took a half step forward, only for his mother to grip his shoulder tightly. "Don't touch it. Birds carry disease." The boy frowned, confused and conflicted, but obeyed. More whispers joined. "That thing won't survive. No point calling anyone. Wildlife office barely answers. Don't get involved." The bird let out another cry, short, thin, nearly swallowed by the crowd's shifting feet. And somewhere behind them, unnoticed, a pair of heavy boots stepped onto the cobblestone. Emily Rowan stood at the edge of the square, silent, hands tucked into the pockets of her olive-green jacket. She wasn't tall, and nothing about her demanded attention at first glance. Her brown hair was tied loosely at the back, her posture relaxed but alert. She watched the scene from a slight distance, her eyes tracing the details others ignored. The angle of the bird's wing, the tension in its neck, the unnatural tilt of its breaths. A man beside her scoffed under his breath. "Poor thing's done for." Emily didn't respond. She kept observing, her expression unreadable. The fog shifted, revealing the extent of the bird's struggle. It tried to lift its head, but the motion made its body spasm. A weak flutter followed, more like a tremor than a movement. A vendor approached with a long stick, hesitating as he lowered it toward the bird. "We should move it. Maybe push it into the bushes, so it's not suffering out here." "That'll kill it faster," Emily said quietly. The man froze mid-motion and turned to look at her. "Sorry, you know something about birds?" She didn't answer right away. The crowd's attention slowly drifted toward her, the girl in boots who spoke up while everyone else hesitated. The vendor straightened, annoyed. "Look, kid, no offense, but we don't need lectures. It's just a bird." A few people nodded, eager for the situation to end without responsibility. But the bird let out one more broken cry, and for the first time, Emily stepped closer. The boy who wasn't allowed to help tugged at his mother's sleeve. "Mom, she's going near it." His mother frowned. "She shouldn't." A different woman spoke sharply. "Miss, don't touch that thing. It's dangerous." Emily knelt beside the bench, lifting it slightly to give the bird more space. Gasps rippled through the crowd. "Hey, didn't you hear? It could have parasites." "Leave it alone." "Girl, stop. You can't save everything." Their voices layered into a rising wave of tension. Emily didn't react. Her focus narrowed to the bird's heaving breaths. She exhaled slowly, almost in sync with it. Her boots pressed firmly into the cobblestone, grounding her as she leaned closer. The bird blinked, the slow, terrified kind of blink that only happens when an animal is fighting to stay conscious. A deep murmur rolled through the crowd. Someone call animal control. Animal control's 2 towns over. So, call anyway. No one's coming for a bird. A man stepped forward. Girl, move away. You're making this harder for everyone. But Emily didn't move. Instead, she lifted her head, eyes calm but unwavering. Her voice cut through the noise, not loud, not forceful, but controlled. Don't touch it. Don't scare it. The man threw his hands up. Why? Who are you? Before she could respond, the bird's wings spasmed violently. The small body twisted in pain, a shrill cry ripping out before collapsing again. People flinched. Someone cursed. Someone else whispered, "It's dying." Just back away. Emily leaned in closer than anyone else dared, but her hands remained still. The tension around them tightened. Voices rose, arguments sparked. Move her. No, she might know something. She's a kid. She knows nothing. Someone drag her back. Emily ignored them all. Her breathing slowed. Her eyes softened. And then she whispered, almost inaudible but strangely steady. It's okay. I'm right here. The crowd fell briefly silent, confusion rippling through them. But Emily wasn't speaking to them. She was speaking to the dying bird. And the bird, against all logic, stilled. The square froze. The cries stopped. The fog thickened around them like the world itself was holding its breath. Emily leaned even closer, her expression shifting, something between focus and quiet recognition. She knew this bird, not this exact one, but this species, this level of injury, this trembling pattern. She had seen it before. She whispered something else, 2 soft words that no one could quite hear, and for the first time since the chaos began, the bird did not cry. It rested, and the crowd stared at the quiet girl in boots, as if she had stepped out of nowhere, doing the impossible with nothing but stillness. The rising tension thickened, because no one in Briarwood Market had any idea who she really was. But they were about to find out. For a moment, Briarwood Market seemed to balance on a single breath. The fog curled around the benches. Vendors, who had been shouting minutes ago, now stood frozen, watching the girl who somehow quieted a creature that had been crying in terror. Emily didn't look up. Her fingers hovered inches from the bird, never touching, letting it sense her calm before her presence. The man with the stick cleared his throat. You can't just stare at it. It needs help. Emily finally spoke. It needs the right help. Her voice didn't rise, but it carried with a clarity that silenced every whisper. The boy who wanted to help earlier stepped forward. Can you fix it? Emily exhaled slowly. Not alone. Confusion filled the crowd, swelling into murmurs again, but Emily reached into her jacket pocket. The motion was small, almost simple, but the item she pulled out made half the square gasp. A dark green badge glinted in her palm, an embossed emblem shaped like a soaring hawk, circled with the words, Forest Wildlife, Triage Unit, Level 2. Field Responder. A woman near the fruit stand whispered urgently, She's with them? The forest team. They only send those people to rescue wolves, eagles, the big cases. The vendor with the stick froze. You're official. Emily nodded once, not with pride, but with purpose. I'm a field medic. Birds like this don't survive without stabilization. Someone hurt it, or stepped on it, without realizing. The crowd shifted uneasily. Emily positioned herself lower, sliding her hands gently beneath the bird's trembling body. Her thumbs pressed around the broken wing in a precise, practiced way. The bird didn't cry. It only blinked slowly, breathing unevenly against her palms. From the back of the crowd, a voice called, Should we get a vet? Emily shook her head. A vet is 40 minutes away. This bird doesn't have 40 minutes. Those words struck the crowd like cold water. Several people looked away in shame, realizing how long they had all been ignoring the suffering. Emily lifted her chin. "I need a cloth. Clean. Soft. Nothing scented." The fruit cart man scrambled forward, pulling off his apron with shaking hands. "Use mine. I'm sorry for earlier." Emily took it gently, nodding. She folded it with precision, wrapping the bird so only its head and one wing remained exposed. Her movements were fast, but impossibly careful. Another man stepped closer, rubbing the back of his neck. "If it needs a ride, I've got a truck." Emily didn't look away from the bird. "We're not moving it yet. First its heartbeat." She pressed 2 fingers just below the bird's neck. The crowd leaned in. After a tense moment, Emily whispered, "Still strong. That's good. That's very good." For the first time there was hope. The small boy stepped forward again. "Can we save it?" Emily finally met his eyes. "We can try." A shift moved through the market, something subtle but powerful. People who moments ago refused responsibility now found themselves inching closer, offering space, offering help, offering apologies, without saying the word. But then came the crack, a sharp, splintering sound. The wooden bench leg, warped from years of moisture, gave out beneath the pressure and snapped sideways. The bench lurched violently toward Emily and the fragile bird. Gasps shot through the air. Emily reacted before anyone else did. She threw her weight forward, shielding the bird with her body as the bench crashed against the cobblestone beside her. People leaped back, shouting, "You okay?" "Girl, move." But Emily didn't move. She kept the wrapped bird tight to her chest, breathing heavily, her heart racing against the small creature's pulse. When she lifted her head, her expression had changed, stronger, sharper, determined. She stood slowly, boots scraping the stone. "We're leaving," she said without hesitation. "Now." People parted instinctively as she walked. The boy and his mother followed behind, the fruit vendor clearing a path. At the edge of the square, a wildlife rescue van screeched to a stop, white marked, with the same hawk emblem as her badge. A tall man jumped out, his uniform matching hers. He stopped dead when he saw her. "Emily, you were off duty." She looked up, eyes steady. "Not anymore." He caught sight of the injured bird in her arms and softened. "You stabilized it." "Without tools." "I had enough," she answered, stepping inside the van. The doors closed behind her. The crowd watched in gripping silence as the engine started, then rolled forward, disappearing into the thinning morning fog. Minutes passed before anyone spoke. The fruit cart vendor whispered, "That girl, she saved it with nothing but her voice." The boy nodded. She wasn't scared. The mother lowered her gaze. We all were. When the market slowly resumed its morning rhythm, something remained in the air, an uncomfortable truth, mixed with a quiet admiration. Later that afternoon, the Wildlife Department released a short update online. "The injured bird from Briarwood Market is stable, rescued by field responder Emily Rowan." Underneath, someone had commented, "The quiet girl in boots. She stepped into the light when no one else did, and the market never forgot the morning they almost let a creature die, until a girl with a calm voice and a forest badge taught them what bravery truly looks like." The moral settled deep. Compassion isn't loud. It doesn't shout. Sometimes it simply steps forward when everyone else steps back.